You know that person who swipes their card with their eyes closed? The one who hasn't opened their banking app in weeks. Yeah, that person isn't irresponsible. They're protecting something. If you genuinely feel safer not knowing the exact number in your account, you're about to feel very seen. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who avoid their bank balance, the one society calls reckless, but science calls something else entirely. Some people check their balance obsessively because knowing gives them control, but for others, knowing creates more anxiety than not knowing. Every time they see that number, their brain floods with stress hormones, shame spirals, and catastrophic what-ifs. Psychologists call this financial avoidance. It's not stupidity or laziness, it's how their brain protects them from emotional overload. But there's more going on. Some people avoid their bank balance because money represents something deeper: failure, inadequacy, loss of control. That number isn't just data, it's evidence of every mistake they've made, every dream they can't afford, every way they're falling short. Out there, they can pretend everything's fine, but that balance, that's the truth they're not ready to face. For people carrying financial shame or past trauma, avoidance isn't careless, it's survival mode. Here's something wild. Studies show that financial avoidance actually makes people spend less cautiously. When you don't know your limits, your brain can't regulate properly. You either restrict everything out of fear or spend freely because what's the difference? It's called the ostrich effect, burying your head in the sand when faced with negative information. And ironically, the very thing meant to protect you ends up creating the disaster you feared. Society romanticizes financial transparency, the budgeters, the investment gurus, the people who track every dollar. But what if your relationship with money is so painful that seeing it feels like looking at an open wound? That's not immaturity, that's unprocessed trauma. Some people avoid their balance for a darker reason: depression that whispers, "What's the point?" Past financial abuse, poverty mindset so deep that scarcity feels like identity. The banking app becomes both a mirror and a weapon. So ask yourself, do you avoid checking because you're in denial or because looking triggers something you haven't healed? Because one is a habit, the other is a cry for help. But you're not doomed. You're just fighting a battle most people can't see. The first glance is always the hardest, but that number doesn't define your worth. It's just information. And information, even scary information, is what sets you free. Hit subscribe if this hit too close to home. If you delete bank notifications without reading them, who pay with credit to avoid seeing the debit. You're not broken, you're just protecting a wound that hasn't healed yet. But healing starts with one brave look. Tell me, do you check your balance religiously, or are you team ignorance is peace?